we can say your generation was soft too compared to the generation before them, the generation before them.
Hey guys, this is Dominique Wilkins.
Hey, this is Sean Kemp.
This is Gary Payton.
Hey, this is Pau Gasol.
NBA fans, what's up? This is Vince Carter here.
Hey, what's up? This is Matt Barnes. If you're an old school NBA fan like I am, make sure you check out the Basketball Time Machine with my man Sean David.
Hello and good day everyone, welcome back to the Basketball Time Machine. My name of course is Sean David and I welcome you to your weekly dose of old school NBA basketball. Now in today's episode I want to take a look at something that has happened recently and basically for the past couple of months, even years. New school players hating on old school players. So we're going to take a look at some of those clips and old school players replying and responding to that. But before we get into that, let me ask you guys for a small favor. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel and like the video if you enjoy the content. Alright, enough said, let's get right down into it. So the first three clips or the first three players that I want to take a look at are new school players. It is going to be Ja Morant, JJ Reddick, and Gilbert Arenas, who are considered, he's more new school than old school. And let's hear what they have to say about old school players.
Oh, no, he's not. Greatest point guard. He's not Bob Cousy. He's not Bob Cousy.
Bob Cousy couldn't dribble with his left hand.
Bob Cousy changed the game. Chris Paul didn't change the game.
Bob Cousy won championships when there were 8 teams in the NBA and you had to win 2 playoff series. Did Bob Cousy ever shoot over 40% from the field in his career?
Well, we understand that.
Did he ever shoot over 40%?
He also had 29 assists in an NBA game.
Oh, well, he was being guarded by plumbers and firemen.
When people talk about, who was better, the 92 team or the this and this team, and then you always say, what rules? what rules? What rules are we playing under? Are we playing under, Rock'em Sock'em Robot style rules? And you know what I mean? If so, you're going to have to really let this group adjust to, prison basketball. If you're trying to play this style, then this new style, then these 92 guys, they can't keep up because they don't have the equipment. They don't have the tools. They don't have the skill set to compete with these crossovers and step backs, and they don't have, so it's really a pointless argument. And that's why when back in the day when it was like, Dennis Rodman, they would have killed a 6'7", 210-pound guy, wouldn't be stopping LeBron James. Let it go. You wouldn't. He's a point guard. You were great at defending people who's back to the basket. He's going downhill. Your strength, your brute strength has no bearing on downhill guards.
I heard he was like just how he, go about the game, just that mindset he had. Mm-hmm. I would like to, play against him. So.
Yeah. This time you're not saying, I would have cooked her.
I would have cooked him too.
You would have cooked Michael Jordan?
Man, nobody got more confidence than 12.
James Naismith invented the game. You were rewarded for putting the ball in the basket. There's plenty of people that have shot more, made more, and guess what? Made more at a higher percentage than Larry Bird from 3. I'm not saying Larry Bird is not one of the greatest shooters ever. He's not one of the greatest three-point shooters ever.
Absolutely.
You cannot make that argument.
Yes, I'm sorry. Because the 80s is so much different. There's physicality, the way they guarded people. You couldn't.
Can we get off
I've been trying to make a point.
Seriously,
I've been trying to make a point for you, Dougie.
Come on, man.
I've been trying to make a point. Hold on, guys.
Physicality, Jay. I mean, you don't think that counts?
You know what? You and I are going to sit down. We're going to sit there and we're going to watch finals games from the 1980s.
But Jay, here's the difference.
I'm going to show you what physical basketball is versus physical fouling.
You're watching them on YouTube. I saw the games. I watched the games at the time. I watched all these games. You didn't watch it. You weren't alive when these games were being played. Did you see Bird play against the Lakers in '84? Did you see Bird against the Rockets in '86? Were you at courtside watching these games? No. You got to watch the games at the time. Okay. Watching them on YouTube 40 years later is not the same at the moment watching a ball game.
Let me ask you a question then. When I watch, let's say Steph Curry, for example. Right. When I watch Steph Curry off the ball in a playoff game.
Oh, he's great.
Getting grabbed and held by Marcus Smart. they're attached to him at all times.
Right.
Then when I watch Larry Bird come off a pin down and no one's within 5 feet of him and they're shooting the gap.
Like when the 90s talking about, oh yeah, y'all soft, we would have put y'all on your ass.
Yeah.
You're a little kid. Like we gain weight when we get older. These are 60, 70 years old, 185 pounds still. Like, come on, shut up. 185, get the out of here. Like I was afraid of you my rookie year. I don't know why. Like you're little, like John Stockton. You guys are little. Right. Like you guys you guys are deep. These are defensive guys. Like it became a joke. Like it's like put the 2 guard on me, man. These point guards are just too little, and that's what people don't understand. Like evolution. Like these guys are just too little. Like you're not gonna hurt us.
So now that we heard the opinions of the new school players, let's hear what some of the greatest legends of all time have to say about that. And at the end of the video, I will give you my perspective and my opinion on that. Let's take a look.
Speaking of the physicality, there was a debate on ESPN with a former player in J.J. Reddick just recently, and they were debating Bird and Curry. And one of the things they said is that Reddick said is that Curry has faced more physicality. We called him out on
Let me say something. Yeah. First of all, Reddick don't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm going to say it, right?
I agree.
He don't know what the hell he's talking about. I'm like, what basketball was you watching? To say something as idiotic as that is ridiculous. The physicality that was a part of the league. Hey, look, when you can put your hand on a guy's hip and make him go a certain way, if you can put that elbow in his chest to slow him up, which we call slowing a guy up when you coming down the lane, so how many guys can deal with that type of pressure? And for J.J. Reddick, who played this game, I'm very disappointed that he has said something so stupid.
J.J. Reddick, a current player who just recently retired, said that Bob Cousy played against firemen and plumbers, and Bob came on and wasn't too pleased. And you played in that era, and those guys set the table for us to be where we are today. And I was just interested in your thoughts on comments like that about your generation and the generations that paved the way.
Well, obviously the game is completely different. The athletes are completely different. And I know JJ just a little bit. He's a very smart kid and everything. But tell me what his career looked like. What did he do that determined games?
Well, you know what I'm going to say. This J.J. Reddick, this kid here who's a journeyman. He was a poor man, Danny Ainge. In today's NBA, I don't know what game he's looking at. You can't touch the guy. Anytime you touch anybody, a three-point shooter, come close to them when they're landing, it's a foul. I lived that 80s era, and Larry Bird was one of the greatest three-point shooters that's ever played this game.
This is the thing I'm having a problem with. Bird, who's a big guy, who got bumped all the time. We played around the basket more than guards played around the basket. So I don't understand the logic for him saying that. When clearly those big guys, even to the big guys today, they get touched a little bit more than little guys because they're around the basket. So it just don't make sense when – this is the thing I hate the most. We had our time. It was a great time. It's their time now.
Yes.
But don't crap on us to prove your point.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't make sense and it's not valid.
Yeah.
But the same thing they look at Sam and myself, the old guys hating.
No,
hating on what? I don't hate on these guys.
You're responding right now.
Yeah.
You're not.
I don't hate on these guys. These guys are great.
Yeah.
I just don't like the disrespect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to say that about Larry Bird, it was less physical. Is he stupid?
Back MVP.
It's just a stupid comment to make. I mean, it ain't got nothing to do with Steph Curry or Larry.
Yeah.
It's the content.
Exactly. We just broke down the end result.
It doesn't make sense. And he should know better than that.
Yeah.
And I don't care what he feel about me, what his response might be. But when I hear that, and I'm like, you really don't know, do you? It's just stupid.
To me, being an old school fan, but also somebody who watches today's NBA every now and then, it's mind-boggling that these new school players even have the courage to say something like that. To me, there's one major difference when it comes to old school players talking about new school players and vice versa. The old school players basically see today's players, so they can see not only highlights but current games, so they have a better perspective in comparison to the new school players who mostly only go by highlights. And I said it in the video in the past already. To me, there's one major reason why I believe that the NBA back in the days was much better than today's NBA. We had transitional players, so players who played in the old school era and the new school era. I'm talking about guys like Tim Duncan, Kobe Bryant, and Dirk Nowitzki. Even Dirk Nowitzki, who was in his 40s or 40 years old, who could hardly move, still was able to average like 10 points per game in today's NBA. That just shows me that today's NBA, quality-wise, has to be worse. The NBA from back in the days. It just makes sense. Even Kobe Bryant, who was basically playing on one leg, was still able to put up 60 points in today's NBA. Tim Duncan, who could hardly move anymore, was still averaging double digits. So we had those players. Vince Carter, another example. So we had those players who played in both eras and who still were productive in today's NBA. That to me is just evidence. Anyway, let me hear what you guys have to say in the comments below, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. Don't forget to tune in the next episode of the Basketball Time Machine. Don't forget to subscribe, and I'll see you hopefully next time on the next episode of the Basketball Time Machine.